weekend that it finally was released after 4 date changes, a studio sale, and a pandemic, was a release like no other. I said, am I supposed to take comfort in that?
And because you've gone on the record, it's not trying to dig you into a hole here on stage, but just to talk honestly, even before the question of the release being bungled, you have a movie like this, which we've all just watched. I mean, I'll say it for you. Like, the idea that someone might have given you a note in a position of authority being like, you should probably lose the opening sequence.
Yeah, that happened. And the entire opening 20 minutes was cut. The Stephen Root character was completely eliminated.
So I didn't know that till tonight. We're like, oh yeah, they were going to cut Stephen Root too. I'm like, brilliant people.
No, it's not only that I mean, this wasn't just a note that was presented to me that I could throw in the trash. It was actually a cut that was taken away from me and made without my input, and that I saw, and that if you've ever been depressed, it was harrowing. The end of that cut, I was like, this is a career killer, and I'll Ellen Smithy this thing faster than you're. Thankfully, it tested worse than any movie in the studio's history. That version of it was the lowest tested movie ever.
After which they somehow accused you of stacking your own test
screening. Well, then, yeah, exactly, because my test screening, which was, again, screened way before, I've learned so much. I would do so many things differently.
The original cut was 7 hours long?
7:05, yeah, not including credits. No, the cut that was screened for a first test audience was done very, very quickly after we had finally been able to finish shooting during a troubled production. You know, most productions are troubled. I'm not claiming any special privileges, but it was screened before there had been an opportunity to kind of look at everything that we'd shot and put it together and digest it, even for 48 hours. It was a rush job. And so it was consequently very, very long, and much longer than I'd wanted it to be. I think it was probably 15 or 20 minutes longer than this version. And the audience, you know, it was a mixed reaction, mixed to bad, meaning that I don't remember what the score was. It wasn't good. A lot of the cards that we got back, I thought about bringing some and reading them out. I should have. I wish I had. Some of them were hilariously, like, written by people who obviously had emotional problems and like things that they were going to carry with them out of the theater that had nothing to do with the movie. There were other people that genuinely didn't like the movie and didn't get what it was going for, and that's fine. You expect that. And other people really got it, and had some constructive things to say about where it was. It was rough, that's for sure, but really understood what the intentions were. And the studio accused me of stacking the audience because some of those comments were so pointed and so kind of in line with what I had said the intentions of the movie were. And I was like, tell me how to stack the audience. I would love to do it.
5 people in North America who've heard of cosmic horror, and 4 of them
were in that room in Long Beach that day. Yeah.
I mean, for anyone who's not gone down the rabbit hole of the Empty Man's production history or backstory, it is interesting to talk about just the project as a project, because while it's thoroughly original and as a debut feature, it's, you know, written, directed, edited, I mean, it's yours, but it comes out of material that's not yours. And even just talking to you about that now, it's a fascinating act of adaptation. You described it as being like a parasite.
Yeah. Well, the production company and the comic book company, Boom Studios, this was their first film as well. Yeah. Ross Ritchie and he had seen a short film that I made and he liked it, and we had talked about trying to find something to do over the course of several years, and he sent me several of their properties, and you know, it was one of those things, you just try to find something that you spark to. And it turned out that something about The Empty Man was really more about the title, frankly, than anything else, but there was a few things about it that were around the margins that connected to some other things that I had been thinking about and trying to do, and I read the comic and thought, there's something about that comic book that there's probably people who can say more about it as a comic than I can. It's been a long time since I've been really into comic books, and I think there's something about that book that's probably very deeply rooted in what a comic book is. Right. But it's not rooted in what a movie is. And so I read it and I was like, I don't know how to do that as a movie, but if you let me kind of, you know, hollow it out and make it my own, then, and to their great, credit, I think, they said, do whatever you want.
sort of, it's like a totally original narrative, totally original set of characters set in a corner
Yeah.
of what that comic book's universe might be, but it's also a larger universe. It's a Lovecraftian universe. It's a cosmic horror space that lots of authors and artists have played around.
Yeah,
with.
and there were things that Cullen Bunn was talking about that were very much in line with things that I was interested in and were reading. So we were definitely simpatico. It was just a question of what mode and how easily can I. Look, I'll be honest, there were some horses I was busy interested in flogging, and I wanted to find a way to squeeze into this story, and so I was allowed to